guys, the GameStopsW, and today I have a review for you guys on a really cool mouse. This is the Logitech G203 Lightsync mouse. It is an upgrade from the previous gen Logitech G203 Prodigy gaming mouse. This is a nice budget gaming mouse at only $40, but it can be found on sale for as low as $15 right now. Personally, my dad got it on Best Buy's website on sale for $15. He got it actually for my half-brother and my stepmom as one of their Christmas presents or Hanukkah or something. I think it was Hanukkah technically. This mouse is available in white, black, blue, or lilac. So the lilac, of course, is like a light purple. They're all the same price, don't worry. It's an ambidextrous general design, but the two side buttons they're only on the left side. So like the mouse is ambidextrous except for the switches, so it's weird. It's like faux ambidextrous. Anyways, it has a thin rubber cable, but it might not be too bad for maneuverability, and at least it's light. Like it doesn't add too much weight as it is thin, but it does tangle, to be quite honest. The mouse feet are not PTFE feet, or at least not 100% PTFE. They're not, and they're also pretty small. I mean, they're not the awesome feet that you'll find on like the high-end Razer mice, or they're not Hyperglides, none of that. But they're fine. I mean, this is a budget mouse. You get what you pay for, to be quite honest. There are no side grips at all, but the plastic does feel slightly nicer than the Corsair Harpoon RGBs. That's my point of reference for this mouse, as that is the other budget gaming mice that I've used a lot. The plastic feels slightly nicer, but I feel like all plastic on mice feels kind of rough and just not great, and they should all improve. It just feels kind of like rough and stuff, and it's hard to keep a grip. At least the Corsair Nightsword has some grippy material. I do like the grip on that, despite its very heavy weight. I would never use it because it's so heavy. I would never use it anymore. So, this mouse can go from 200 to 8,000 DPI. It has an optical sensor which seems responsive and good, but they don't say exactly which sensor, which means they could be hiding something. Same with switches. The switches, by the way, are very crisp and clean, but again, they don't say what switches they actually are. So, you know, you gotta leave that up to chance. You don't really know. I'll do a sound test later, of course. It's compatible with Windows 10, Mac OS, and Chrome OS, but I'm not gonna mention that in future reviews, to be clear, because nobody cares that it works on Chrome OS, let's be honest. So now I'm gonna do a size comparison of it and the Corsair Harpoon. So they're both, you know, cheap gaming mice. The Harpoon is not really, you know, current gen anymore, but it was a $15 mouse, the normal Harpoon, whereas the Harpoon Pro is $30. The one I have is the RGB Pro, so I'll be doing it with that technically. It's 116.6 millimeters in length, 62.15 millimeters width, and 38.2 millimeters depth, as in height. It is a very small mouse for sure, not great for big hands. It's good for claw and fingertip grip, but not really palm. I don't think I would use palm with this. It just doesn't work that well. I mean, it's okay, but so it's relatively light at 85 grams without the cable. It's got 6 programmable buttons, nothing crazy. The scroll wheel cannot be tilted or diagonally pressed, even though I tried to do it and I kind of made it look like it could be during the sound test, but no, it cannot be diagonally pressed. My finger slides off the scroll wheel a lot. It's really not the best, and also, honestly, it looks ugly. The scroll wheel does, and the actual clicks of the scroll wheel are not crisp at all. They're kind of I don't know what to call them. They're just dull. But anyways, it's got a 1000 hertz polling rate, which is basically the standard right now, so that's great for a cheap mouse. I mean, that's fine. 200 IPS. The cable is not removable. One issue I have with this mouse is it easily collects fingerprints, although it doesn't seem like they stay too much for that long, but it does collect fingerprints. But I mean, that's pretty standard. That's pretty normal. So I wouldn't fault it too much for that. It has Logitech's Lightsync RGB. It's got 2 RGB zones, the logo, and then the little light bar under the logo along the, I don't know if you call it the front or, I guess the back of the mouse. Well, no, because it's like the front when you're seeing it. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. That could be a long argument. The 2 zones are the same color / gradient. They're not individual, although I will say this has some of the best stock RGB lighting of any mouse I've seen. The gradient is really sick, and honestly, for me anyways, there's really no reason to go into the software and change it, meaning you don't need to get GHub. The button under the scroll wheel is a DPI switcher, so you can press it and cycle through the DPI, so you really don't need GHub unless you want to do some cool stuff. I will show you GHub anyways, though, don't worry. The mouse has no onboard memory, unfortunately, but that is in line with other mice in its price point, so it's still competitive. It's got a 2-year warranty, and now I'm going to do a sound test of these switches. So I tried the mouse for a few hours of Zoom classes today, Monday. I don't think this review will come out on Monday. I'm not completely sure, but right now when I'm filming this, it's Monday. I tried it for several hours of Zoom classes for school. It's a bit too small for my hands personally, but it works fine, honestly. It's not too bad. It's ambidextrous, not ergonomic, and my problem with that is I prefer ergonomic because, and this is not just my preference, like ambidextrous mice feel fine for me, but it's a fact. Ergonomic mice, when I say ambidextrous mice, you're more likely to get a wrist injury than using an ergonomic mouse because it's the position that you're putting your hand in when you're holding a mouse. It's already pretty unnatural, and you're just making it worse by getting an ambi instead of an ergo, or I should say you're making it better by getting an ergo. It's a little bit better. So, carpal tunnel syndrome and stuff, you don't want that. So I'd get an ergonomic mouse if I were you. And the Corsair Harpoon, for example, is ergonomic, and it's also very cheap, even cheaper than this, unless this is on sale. Anyways, yeah, so it's more fatiguing to use than an ambidextrous. It's more fatiguing to use than an ergonomic mouse for a while. It feels a little weird. It's not terrible though, like just the fact that it's ambidextrous. The scroll wheel is a little rattly feeling to me as well, but it wasn't terrible. The buttons are very, very crisp, as you heard. Very, very crisp. Overall, it's a solid mouse, and if you can get it on sale at that $15 sale price, it's an instant cop. Like, get it. So that's kind of an overview of the mouse and my opinion of it. I really, really do like it, and now I'm going to show you guys the Logitech GHub Software. Okay, guys, so I'm in the GHub Software. As you can see, it allowed me to choose between my C920S webcam and my G203 mouse. These are the lighting presets. I'm showing you guys the RGB presets. Quick note, I have not experienced any of Logitech's notorious double-clicking issue with the mice, although to be fair, I haven't had this for very long. So yeah, so here are all of the cool default presets that you can choose in GHub. It's pretty cool. I was planning on showing you guys Logitech gaming software, but because it's aging and being replaced by GHub, and I don't really think they want you using it anymore, and because I like to keep my reviews short, and also to use it, you have to delete GHub, as that's the default now, and then also you, for me anyways, it wasn't picking up my G203. I looked at tutorials, and I looked at this thing, and for some reason it was not picking up the G203 at all, and so yeah, it wasn't picking up the G203, and that's an issue. It might be because it's too new. Maybe it only supports the older products and they're not letting it support the new ones anymore. I'm not totally sure on that. I would just use GHub and not LGS, although some people say LGS is better because GHub is very buggy, although I think that was more of like an early adopter type situation. I don't think GHub is super buggy anymore, as it is the standard and has been for years. So there's also these like animation effects. Not exactly sure how they're different than the presets. I don't know. I mean, you can change like the speed and all that for them. It's pretty cool, like the rate. I don't know. It's very sick. And then there's like macros, like button assignments and stuff like that. You know, and keys and actions and stuff. Actions for like Discord OBS apparently. I don't know. I guess you can do it for some software as well. And then you can change like the sensitivity, the DPI. So as you can see, 400, 800, 1600, 3200, and you can set what the so those are the increments that the button below the scroll wheel is set to, but you can drag those and change like what the preset is. So I could set it to 8,000, and now I think I can, about 8,000, and now it'll work like when I click that DPI button. I think it could bring it to 8,000. So anyways, we're gonna be done with GHub now. Okay guys, so that was GHub and LGS. You heard my opinions on those softwares in their respective sections. Anyways, definitely a good mouse. You don't really need software, honestly. I mean, you can just use it stock. It's got great RGB. You can switch the DPI by default. Some of the other colors have a gray scroll wheel instead of black, and that makes it look even worse. At least it's black on the black version. But that was actually the Gangsta FTW. So my opinion on this mouse, to be clear, is a positive one. But yeah, so that was actually the Gangsta FTW, and I do recommend this mouse. So yeah. But yeah, see you guys.
Okay.